Hello, welcome back to Transformers Weekly, bringing you Transformers news from around the world and Australia, and a little bit of New York Toy Fair. I'm Brad, and this is episode 182, recorded live on Saturday, 16th of Feb 2019. Max, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, Brad.
Oh, I just wish I had a green screen and the hearts go beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, we don't have a sort of budget for that thing.
No, we don't, or the skill. On this episode, there's a new Bumblebee, Masterpiece Bumblebee. Holy shit! The rumor is no longer a rumor. Yeah, we got a new Beast Wars Masterpiece coming. Sweet lady of my heart. We get to see what's in store for Cyberverse in 2019, and a lot more coming up after this. All right, we'll go straight into it. Yes, hello. As I said before, I'm Brad. Join me tonight on our 4th birthday. Streamers, party poppers, pop. Max from South Australia. How are you going, sir?
It's all right. I sort of slipped by this is the 4th birthday, which is pretty significant. But we've got a really good news week to celebrate it, so feel happy about that.
Yes, unfortunately, Jason's going chasing his androids in Barcelona, and Ashes is stuck at home with a young baby, which is a bit ill at the moment. So
everyone's out being successful and making families, and we're here to talk about Transformers.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's
got to. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
That's it. Anyway, for us that are here, Max, what have you been up to this week? Anything new? Daring, adventurous.
Not really. I started another podcast, just a Halo-related one, kind of similar format to this, to be honest, with a few mates, so that was good.
Plug it. Plug it.
Beyond this, plug it. The Halo Plasma Cast. If you, there's a few guys you might recognize on there. If you involved in a Halo community at all, check it out.
Lovely.
Free shameless plug. Thank you, Brad.
No, go for it, man.
avoided saying the name because I'm like, is this socially acceptable?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, beyond that, I've been up to sweet bugger all.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick week, actually. It went really fast. Here.
Big news week, though, which is
surprising. It was. Now, just looking quickly ahead to the news, Toy Fair, currently we're recording on Saturday night. Toy Fair has already gone for a day and a half. Some would say it went for Friday as well. Okay. We do have a couple of releases surrounding Toy Fair, but the main body of the Toy Fair discussion and review will be next week. And it will be a doozy of a show. So
what little leaks we've seen so far, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah. And even with what's been revealed so far. So we've got some stories here that some or most don't involve Toy Fair. So we're going to get these out of the way this week before we get there because, next week will be Toy Fair. And then the week after, we probably won't have a show because there'll be no news whatsoever. As what normally happens when big events like this are on. And we also had Wonderfest too, which showed us some fantastic figures, and we're going to get to them shortly. But before we get to that, Max, ready to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. First up, we have a full lineup or a semi-lineup of what's coming out for Cyberverse in 2019. There has been a trailer for Season 2 of the cartoon, which I have not watched. Max, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's a good-looking season with not a very good trailer.
Okay. The two biggest things I wanted to talk about here in this, which is the reason it's in the news, is one, we have a new Skybite. I hope it's called Skybite. It looks like Skybite.
Well, I mean, if they're calling it Skybite here, but if Lugnut is anything to go by, then it might not be.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, but it is kind of cool to see him bringing in these characters just outside of just G1 for Cyberverse. In what initially appeared to be a very G1-esque show, it's folding in a lot of other stuff now.
Are we sure this isn't Skybite?
Oh no, it says Skybite.
Okay. I. So what we had. We had Armada. Armada or Cybertron. Whatever the Unicron
Skybite.
trilogy one. Yeah, yeah.
It was in. I thought it was in RID. Did he show up in?
Oh,
Unicron
no,
well?
sorry. Yeah, it was RID. Yep.
That show that maybe kind of sorta in continuity with the Unicron trilogy.
Yeah. So we had that. Then we had the. It was only a re-release of that figure, wasn't it? To come out in Generations.
Yeah, they made a brand new mold because for a while he was a really big deal in IDW for like a year, and then he disappeared.
It's one figure I really would love to get in hand. Just again, transforming shark.
It looks like a decent sort of like legend style articulation set up on him as well, and like there's some decent color separation.
When you say legends, this looks like the New Age deluxes. but even like we've never got sort of like a submersible transformer before, and it's not as angular as what the original Skybite. Like it looked like a bent shark, where this is more straight.
This looks like a submarine in like a shark deco, you know,
on
planes, you know, like on planes where they'll do it up there like a shark jaw on the front.
Yeah,
looks like that, but with a submarine.
Yeah. I suppose one other thing I was going to discuss too, which was the title image for this story, is there's an arc.
Yeah. So it's like they all have like smaller vehicles that power them up, and one Prime. I think there's two for Prime, but one of them is just straight up the arc. Okay.
Like, I was trying to think when I was looking through this. We've never had. We had the little polystone statues for the Ark, which were like statue vehicles, but we've never had an actual transforming figure. There was the long rumored and then cancelled Omega Supreme, I think, for animated.
There wasn't there a weird one in Cybertron where it was like Unicron, but he turns into the Ark, like a deluxe.
That's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, it's this strange thing that has no bearing on continuity at all. It just happened.
Yeah. And it rides along on the back of Prime. Like, if it combined with him, then it might make more sense. I wonder if these are separate or if it's going to be a 2-pack, considering it's photographed with him.
Yeah, see, I don't know. It doesn't really give much info about yet as of how like these are made. So it's like generally it seems like they come with, you know, you get your character and you get your vehicle, and the vehicle combines onto a character. But with Prime, you see it's the same Prime mold both times. But like it's the same. Actually, no, looks like there's two separate Prime molds. So the smaller Prime has that jet thing that we see in the trailer, and the larger Prime has the Arc.
Well, that goes into this here, where we seem to have a Starscream combining with Prime, or is that supposed to be Jetfire?
I don't think we know. I think it's just a generic thing that combines. Like in the trailer, Cheetor just does all spark magic, and they get this armor.
Well, yeah, here we got Starscream that combines with a bulldozer to make.
Yeah, that's two things that are thematically similar, aren't they? Starscream and a bulldozer.
Well, a Bumblebee and a battle cruiser is
Bumblebee and what looks like Broadside.
Yeah, that's
like really looks a lot like Broadside.
Wow, that is amazing.
There's strange looking things, and then Megatron's reminding me of some Beast Machine's character. I think Rotorstorm.
Oh, that one there.
Yeah,
he's got a mace.
It's a little mace there. It's ridiculous, and it's kind of cool, but also,
well, it's feeding the children's imagination. But as for collectors, like, yeah, And again, cyberverse. Obviously,
Ooh, that's a vehicle mode on that Megatron.
yeah.
I mean, I know it's a kids line, but you want the kids to keep collecting Transformers. You don't want to turn them off, which is the shoddiest product in the world.
Yeah.
Oh well. End of the
Yeah.
day, it's a kids line. You know, I'm sure they'll be happy with it.
Yeah, but the parents won't be happy with the $30 price tag. That's the biggest problem that's come out of this. Like I seen some of those, whatever the Bumblebee Transformers Bumblebee quick change dropkick and that sort of stuff, which have not bad looking robot modes, and yeah, okay, the alt mode's a bit because they lack in engineering, but $39 for them is just no.
Yeah, prices seem to be going up everywhere, and like, you know, whereas Siege and Studio Series seem to be going up in quality, it doesn't seem like we're having the same thing occur with like the kids lines.
But it's what we're getting for that. We know Cyberverse Season 2 is coming out this year. We hold hope for a later news story. There might be some more adult content coming, but we'll get to that shortly. Last week, or possibly the week before, we had heard rumors of a new Masterpiece Bumblebee version 2. I scoffed at it.
We all scoffed at it.
Ash loved the idea because he wants a more cartoon accurate B. This reminds me a lot of the Soap Studios Bumblebee with the real goofy face, but we do have in stock images, not in hand, stock images of MP45 version 2 Bumblebee.
It's a strange figure. Look, I mean, here's the thing with Bumblebee is he has a very strange, like he has a strange cartoon model. Like this looks odd, but is technically accurate
For the most part.
Yeah, whereas MP21 was it was an idealized version of Bumblebee, you know? It was like take a bit of a toy, bit of a cartoon, and just make it look nicer. Whereas this is just straight up, yeah, here's cartoon Bumblebee.
And we're definitely in agreement that's a fake chest.
Yeah, no question. I don't take personal issue with that. If it makes it more accurate, then whatever.
But then, and that's the biggest thing here is even going all the way back to MP1, where you have a most toy/cartoon accurate version of the robot mode. The car mode is always licensed. It's always it's almost like a 132 model diecast or even model car of what it's supposed to represent. Yes, you have Hot Rod, you have Rodimus Prime, you have Wheeljack that aren't really licensed vehicles. And now we've just all of a sudden, okay, well, we've had, since Magnus, we've started going for even more cartoon accurate robot modes. And now we're just slumping. We're doing a full 180 on the alt modes and going straight for cartoon accuracy there as well.
Yeah, I think the line in general is moving much more towards cartoon accuracy.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
And that's like we discussed last week, the new MP Plus smokescreen, where, okay, it's got the white windows and a different face. Well, you're not doing a more cartoon accurate car. So now... So now everything before...
It's a matter of, I guess, you know, Bumblebee and Prime and stuff, they're much more recognizable characters. So it's like, probably, for someone like Smokes, you're not going to bother. Which is especially unfortunate when you factor in figures like Sideswipe, which are like dramatically, you know, different than the current Masterpiece aesthetic. Like Sideswipe does not look like he's in the same line nowadays.
Yeah, and because he's a very early one when we had the shift with MP10 and going with the Hasui era of design with the MP cars. It's sort of, and then once Magnus came out, we went and had done that new shift, and this has sort of opened the floor to all of those Like, you're not going to see a new Rodimus. You're not going to see a new Dinobot from the 1 to 10 era now in this second era. Now it's going to be in the third era, where it's complete.
We had the sort of fusion, and we had the toy, and now we're just in pure cartoon, nothing else.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a new Grimlock, and all the figures are going to be like nothing we've seen. Well, if anything, they're going to be like these guys, like fully G1 accurate gold.
Oh, I can't see you.
Oh,
it's just being weird. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like full G1. All these guys, like head of the fella. Like, this is full G1 Dinobots. Like, that's what we're going to get from MP with this lacking detail. Yet these are going to be 400 each.
Yeah, I guess it's I don't know if you know how you are, but detail versus engineering. Because that Bumblebee certainly looks to have a lot more engineering than MP21.
Yeah, and that's. Let me just bring it back up.
Not that it seems to account for much, mind you, when you get to, especially the backpack.
But that's the problem. Like, even looking at the feet here,
the feet look fine to me personally. Like, it's the feet.
Yeah, if straight on's fine, but on the angle like that,
yeah, I guess
you need something to hide it.
Yeah, and the thing with the MP21 was that the way it dealt with the kibble was that it just had the kibble wrap around the outside of the foot. So it hides all that interior stuff. Like, the kibble hides itself. Whereas this, it's like, surely you could pull off something similar, especially when you've got more kibble to deal with. Just have it fold around, Have some of that kibble on the back, instead have that fold like attached to the feet so then it can wrap around there. Like,
yeah, and that's like the Datsuns do that, where the feet explode and come around enclosed inside of them. Yes, you've got a back of a car as a foot, but it's enclosed and it doesn't show folds upon folds of kibble. And you're talking old mode, like that's those back wheels are barely touching the ground. Like, that's
it's like, it's supposed to be, this perfect version of Bumblebee, and it's just anything but, to be honest. Like, it looks good, it looks like a posable figure. Robot mode looks accurate from the front.
The back,
but you put it under some hard scrutiny, and it just falls apart, I think. Especially when you consider the fact that the damn thing's $150.
Yeah. We haven't got to the price yet, but
it's $150 for a robot mode that doesn't look as coherent as the original.
Where's it? Oh, there it is.
It's like, look at that backpack. And it's like, you look at all the empty space in there, and you think, surely they could have taken the time to adjust the measurements a bit so that could collapse in a bit more, because you can see where it could collapse.
Yeah,
there's a Photoshop floating around that we use like a proof of concept to say, hey, here's exactly how this could work. And it's like, you shave off some of the detailing on the inside and like the lip up the top. You could do it. That could fold in more, and they just chose not to. They're like, nah, we're not going to run this for another prototyping stage. We're going to put it out looking like that. And that, in my mind, is far inferior to the original.
But not only that, even the... Oh, I don't want to get up there and get Bumblebees out.
And the other thing is, it's pure kibble as well. Like, because you have that fake chest, but the thing is, Sunstreaker has a fake chest, but Sunstreaker hides all his real car parts, like all the real windows. Whereas Bumblebee's, he's got the fake chest, and then all the windows are just hanging off him.
Yeah. Oh, God, you're making me stretch now. See, even like going back to the feet, like you mentioned before, those windows or whatever the front windscreens or the door windows, whatever they are on the back of his heel there, could easily fold around in crouch and hide. I'm gonna bring back. Stop sharing. Bring back to video diary story time. Like here, I've got the MP one here. Like the inside of those feet, just how
it's so well done.
Just how clean
I've
that
got
is.
one here as well, and I'm just comparing the two. Like,
yeah,
I'm still of the mind that this is one of maybe the best masterpiece.
And even like looking in the backpack, like yes, you've got the car chest on the front, which is bigger because it's not so cartoony and short. But even just having the back part of that with the spare wheel, it's not as you
Well,
can't
like
really do not much with it.
it's there, but it's it's just one solid piece. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah. And
over.
you
It's
could,
not this overbearing mess. It's like it looks like a piece of armor on his back.
I got no problem. And even you could have a hinge there where these side windows fold in just to get it compressed a little bit more. But it's sort of we've always talked about, even with the live action series, about how the robots don't have any car parts. Having that on the back does not worry me at all because once a solid piece, it's a nice little like back turtle flap thing, and you can clearly see it's part of the car mode.
Well, it's also a fact that there's been multiple incarnations of G1 style Bumblebee, right? And multiple of those have had this piece on his back. Like this isn't inaccurate,
Yeah,
right?
and I can show.
MP45 is.
Mm,
Like people say, oh, this is the ultimate accurate Bumblebee. It's not
no,
because you have two separate car chests, right? Like this is as G1 Bumblebee is more than just G1 cartoon Bumblebee. G1 Bumblebee is toy Bumblebee. It's comic Bumblebee. It's all the Japanese stuff and the stuff that's come after, right? And that MP45 sacrifices so much to achieve one very specific thing.
exactly. And then like this is a Legends Bumblebee. Like again, the feet are nice. Dare I don't want to dare turn it around because of course the back of the feet are hollow, but it just again you've got that Volkswagen, you got the top as the chest, which is fine, and on this you pretty much turn the back wheels around. They got bits on the back to make the backpack. And yes, okay, if you want to nitpick, well, there's nothing behind it.
It's also a Legends class.
Yeah, well, exactly. That was $24 or $20 or something. So, and that just and
Oh, and bear in mind, MP21 averages around $80, and that's also including Spike.
exactly. That's the next thing we need to get into when I get back here now. Accessory count. We had the Spike, or we had the jetpack with the gold version. This comes with the little Spike that was just a repaint from MP10. We have sword, lightsaber. I love New York, which I don't know why it says I love New York. Two faces and his pistol, which a pistol like primary weapon should be a standard. It comes with nothing.
Yeah, there's no value there whatsoever. It's I'm concerned about the future of Masterpiece line, to be honest.
My biggest concern is how many people I've seen saying how much they love this, and yes, it's this.
I'm just looking at these pretty promotional shots and going, I want to be excited about this because I love a good posable figure, and this thing looks posable as all hell, but the amount that it's sacrificing to be accurate to one specific facet of G1 Bumblebee is just. But I don't think there's any excuse for it, to be honest. It's really.
But it raises the other problem too, where you're buying this. This doesn't even look good next to the new Prime as a G1 figure.
Like because the new Prime is super coherent, isn't it? Like it's really smoothed out.
Ooh, let's not say move. Let's not.
It looks like one uniform piece, whereas this is just. It's got all these areas of just jank.
I can't disagree with you more about that, but I this only looks good next to MP Soundwave. That is the only Masterpiece figure that can't be renewed because it's G1 to a T, and this pretty much looks good next to it. Just simplicity.
Yeah, we've gone too long around this. I think
MP10 is pretty simple as well, but
yeah, but MP10's a bit of toy in it as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's when you start getting to the things. But oh, look, the door can open and Spike can come out.
Yeah, I guarantee you, he doesn't sit in there though.
Oh no.
Yeah,
no.
It's just a superfluous gimmick that serves no purpose.
Yeah,
it was also drastically out of scale with Volkswagen.
Is that MP10 or is that the new one? That looks like
yeah,
the
that's the
new
new
one.
one.
Yeah. Yay.
All right, shall we move on to something we can be more positive about?
That took too long. I'm not going to show that. Oh, I do need the run sheet back now. God damn it. Just a second. That photo only shows the.
I think just go onto the TFW homepage.
Oh, I've got the photo in the run sheet.
Ah, okay, cool.
I'll just bring the run sheet back up in a second. Welcome to my back door. Although, as Jason said, you can't show any bigger, so that's what you're going to see. Coming up next, this come completely out of left field.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I need to open the run sheet on the pod, but clearly I haven't done this and it's been a while. Where did it come from? I've seen this first on Entertainment Earth, but
I mean, they revealed it on Hasbro Pulse because they revamped that today.
Yeah, IDW.
So Hasbro Pulse is now like a news and shop thing. And so the first thing they did was reveal this and put it up for order.
Well, yeah, just looking at the article on TFW, IDW manager and creative development senior editor Tom Waltz dropped a cryptic hint earlier this week about a top secret Ghostbusters project, which would make you wonder what IDW and Transformers had to do with Ghostbusters. We have it here, Ectotron. There has been, and I was meant to go back and try and find when some of that early art come out. For the longest time, there's been Ecto-1 as a Transformer, the DeLorean. I've got the shirt on right now in support of this project. The A-Team van, the Turtle van, the Tumbler, all these famous movie vehicles, even the 66 Batmobile, just all these famous movie vehicles as Transformers. And here, as a 35th anniversary special for Ghostbusters, and 2019 exclusive for Entertainment Earth, as far as I know. It may be released elsewhere, but we have the Ecto-1, which, yeah, the old mode.
It just looks like this looks really good.
It looks a lot better than I thought. Just some gimmick would be.
It looks like a really accurate Ecto-1 is the thing, and like. Out of all the things I imagined Combiner Wars Hotspot being retooled into, Overway in 2019, I did not imagine a fully accurate Ecto-1 would be one of them.
Wait, this is Hotspot?
This is straight up Combiner Wars Hotspot.
Holy shit.
Like, it's not even like a Dead End and Chrome Dome thing, like a shared shell. This is a retool. Look at the fires.
Wow.
The fires and like the mechanics on the shoulder and biceps and stuff, this is the same mold.
Yeah. And
now it's Ecto-1.
And clearly this is no way a masterpiece level figure of complexity. Like, you can see the hollows, you can see this. The Ecto-1 is a pretty big box, so the transformation is pretty easy for it. But
even then, quality-wise on that alt mode, it looks like a proper replica. It doesn't look like a Transformer, The
panel lines, and yes, I'm not in Ghostbusters groups, but from memory, going back, say, the last 10 years, the only thing Ghostbusters related we've got as collectors is the Lego Ecto-1, and then the Firehouse. Like, there hasn't been a lot of collector-based stuff, and even if you buy this not to transform, it still looks like a fairly decent Ecto-1 with a crease down the bonnet. Really, that's where the split is. The rest of it looks fantastic.
God, yeah, I'm like, it's the thing is, you look at this and you go, right, it's Combiner Wars Hotspot, so it's going to be a good mold, and going to be a solidly built figure, but then they've gone and turned it into like a legitimately, like it looks perfectly accurate to what I remember for Ecto-1.
And if it's not perfect in your eyes as a Ghostbusters fan, well, it's one hell of a base model to start a customize to do repaints or whatever else. Paint some rust on it to make it Ecto 2. Like it's
Yeah, it's just a really impressive looking figure as well. And last I checked, it's only like $50. Like
it is a
quite cheap.
Voyager. It's a Voyager, yeah.
Yeah, but it's at a Voyager price point as well. Like it's not some massively marked up thing. Like, yeah, I'm really impressed by like all cool stuff about licensing, whatever you aside. It's just impressive.
And maybe to just continue on too, like they're hinting at this is going to be a 5-part series. Or
Yeah, they've said now it's like June 2019, 5-part series about Ectotron.
Are we going to get a DeLorean? Are we going to get a Batmobile?
Yeah, now the gate has been unlatched. Like this, they've just done Star Wars now on the Ghostbusters. Like it's 70s, 80s pop culture crossover.
Whatever happened to those Star Wars releases? Did they ever get it anywhere?
Yeah, I think they came out and they sucked. Like everyone said they would.
Wow, I've never seen one of them. Okay. I'd buy this and I'd buy a DeLorean. I'd buy top 5. That could be a good list. If you're listening home,
discussion topic. I could be a discussion topic for one time. Like, what would you see Transformers crossover with?
Yeah, I could pick 5, but a lot of them probably wouldn't be big franchise stuff. But yeah, that's fantastic. This would be a wait and watch. What's going to come out later on? How are you going to get these here? I'm sure Pop Culture and some of the online stores like that would get these.
Well, it says this is GameStop, so it'll go for a zing as well.
Yeah. Yep. There's nothing more on there about it. All right.
Speaking of GameStop related things.
Speaking of gaming, Max, I'll let you take this away.
Yeah, right. So, like, a bit just sort of out of nowhere. I think Hasbro had a investor conference at Toy Fair, and then they just revealed nonchalantly there that there's a new Transformers game coming, which I know a lot of us had been clamoring for in the 4-year gap since Devastation. Now, what exactly the nature of this game is incredibly dubious at this point. So, like, Certain Affinity is the lead developer. Now they have quite a reputation. Like, these guys done really good. If you've played like Call of Duty or Halo, especially Halo, they've done some really good stuff for the multiplayer side of that. And judging by the name, it says Transformers Online, so we can assume this will be mostly, or if not entirely, a multiplayer game, which is is for better or for worse.
I'd say better, just because of the fact that we've had announcements for Transformers games for the last 8 years, and they've all been mobile games. So it's been like,
I think we've had a lot of multiplayer games, but none of them have come out well. Whereas the story, we've had like bad multiplayer games and good story games, but not really any good multiplayer games. So maybe it's time for someone with experience to actually have a good crack at it. But the issue is that Certain Affinity has never actually made a full game before. So they're like, all right, so they made, let's go from what I know well. So they did like co-development on Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary and some other Halo stuff, but then most of their stuff has been like maps. So like, right, Halo 2 will do maps. Halo Reach will do some maps. Halo 4 will do some maps. Actually, Halo 4 they went pretty in depth with. They did some of the better parts of that game. So like the stuff that they have done is reputable, but it's always been within the wider scope of larger companies like Activision, Bungie, 343. It's always been under larger developers. They've never actually made something of their own accord. Now, what exactly they're making of their own accord is the question, though. Because it says, Transformers Online, it's a third-person shooter. So there are two things. There was a game called Transformers Online a few years back that went into a very long beta test in China. Now, that I would be concerned because that game was a bit of a crappy clone of Overwatch, and it was generally regarded as being not very good. And I'm worried here because it's got the same name, and a couple years back, Chinese game developer invested 10 million in Certain Affinity to develop an original game, and we don't know what came of that development. But this is a third-person game, and it says develop an original game. So I'm hoping that means it's a separate thing to that original Transformers Online, because if it is that other game, then I would assume it's not going to be very good.
If
it is an original project, then I'd say we're probably in for a treat.
If we start getting some images from gameplay of Dark of the Moon, trying to get the Wreckers to the space launch or something, that we know we're going to know for sure that it's something old like that. But and that's the thing. Like this online, the first person shooter, then it's sort of, even though Devastation didn't sell well, I think it still was pretty much one of the more favoured games among fans just for its...
It turned enough of a profit for Platinum Games to turn around and do the same thing with TMNT. So, it wasn't a failure, it just wasn't successful enough to warrant a sequel.
Yeah. So, it just... And it says here that more's going to come out of Toy Fair, so... Yeah. There may be more to discuss about this next week, but I'd hope to sort of pick your character, pick your generation, and go.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of maps. That's a lot of worlds. So that's a massive game.
Yeah. My one worry would be that I'm hoping it's not just them jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon, because there is no room left in that market, and if you want to leave a sour taste in people's mouths for Transformers games, then that's one way to do it.
Yeah. But we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, it's all very ambiguous, but we can say at this stage that the new Transformers game is coming, and that's been a long time coming, so we can be happy about that, and there are some really good people working on it.
Yeah, that's it. It's not a mobile game. We've had War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Darkspark, Devastation. So we're almost ready to go down again, but we'll see if we can stay up.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right. Quickly, Mastermind Creations R50 Supermax. There's a new Fortress Maximus head coming out.
And you know what? So, this is an interesting one. So, it was a while back. This guy called Rick Acker shared some renders that he made of a digital design that he put together for an IDW style Fortress Maximus, and then a lot of people responded really positively to it. So then Planet Steel Express and Mastermind Creations said, right, we don't know how much demand there is for us, but because it's going to be, a really big, expensive piece. So what they did was they set it up as a crowdfunding thing, basically. So the way it works is you pay about $70 now, and if it reaches 800 people who pay that price, then it goes into production for release about this time next year.
That should be easy enough.
I'm worried because it's only 300 backers.
Oh,
and which worries me. It's like, dude, you just got to pay $70. It's fine.
I might have
You
buried
got
the
a year to
lead.
save up. Sorry?
I might have buried the lead. Does this turn into his head?
No, this is IDW Fortress Maximus. So
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
he's like a separate thing. I mean, he does like link with a Titan at one point, but he doesn't turn into a head. So he's just a dude who turns into a tank.
Well, with the way the tank's treads are set up, these look like moving rubber tracks, which is fantastic for one. But I've seen a few people doing the mass exodus and selling their PX Warden. Which does
if this goes into
become a
production,
head.
I definitely know I am, because that thing is, I've never transformed it. It's just so impossible. It's like it's entirely a parts former. It's miserable.
That does become his head, though. It does become a Magnus Fort Max head, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, so
it's a triple
turns
changer.
It turns into a crappy tank that has the parts form, but it also turns into like a surrogate head for G1 Fort Max.
All right. We'll see more of that.
Yeah, as a figure, it looks really good, but at this stage, it's just in the renders.
Yeah.
They showed a transformation a while back, actually just a few days ago, and that looks to pull some really clever tricks. So, I'm quite hopeful for this going in production.
Well, a lot are, from what I've seen. Like, as I said before, so many people are like, nah, Warden, you're gone. We're getting this new one. So, and if the transformations, like you said, it is, then I understand why completely, whether it's head or not. Moving on to Toy World, they've started putting up some coloured photos of their new Bulldog figure, which is 01, I think. Yeah, FS01, which is their the Last Night Bulldog. So got a couple of photos here in tank mode with its Italian war paint on, and here we have him, and he comes with a couple of different heads.
So there's like, I mean, the one after this is the movie accurate one.
That's it. Yep.
And then he's got another hat and a couple of different like gas mask type things.
Which
so you can
why?
I guess it's like so you can give him a helmet that's doesn't look so much like a human helmet, and then the gas masks, it looks more like a robot as opposed to just a dude.
Well, yeah, the accessory must be a helmet and two separate gas masks.
Yeah, I think it's a good call, because this is one of those movie Transformers that suffers from just looking like a giant metal human.
Yeah.
As a figure, though, like for a character that appeared on screen for like a single second, it's incredibly well done. Like I have no idea how this transforms.
It's pretty easy, isn't it? The main tank mode's on his chest. He lays down, the tank's spread out.
Yeah, actually, and now that I look at it, everything's on the legs.
Yeah,
it's just legs.
It's no way Unique Toys transformation.
Yeah, it's I forgot about the tank it was based on, and I'm like, oh right, yeah, it's the tank, which is just two giant sets of treads.
Yep.
So, yeah, we know how this is going to transform.
Yeah. But it still looks fantastic.
Yeah, the highlight is the detailing for me. Like that soft weathering almost looks like a 3A figure.
Yeah, well, just that rust color on the tracks. It's not a bright green on the main body. It's still that duller green.
Yeah, I'd hope that it comes out looking that good in production.
Yeah,
because those things can not eventuate sometimes.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the first releases look like. There's a lot of dead bodies there. I'm hoping that's a mock-up and not a shot from World War II or one.
That's an interesting way to promote your figure.
It is, with so many dead people, especially when it's supposedly an Autobot. This past week, also leading into Toy Fair, we had Wonderfest, and we got some more images of past reveals, as in MP, unsure of its number, Hound, and MP44 Optimus Prime. We got to see the Pseudo Series Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron, I love you, and some other figures. So yeah, a quick shot at Hound here. Still looks like Hound, even though we've gone from color, now we've gone back to prototype grey. So I don't know what that says about Hound itself. And is this that's the new Bumblebee there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a new one.
That looks even messier.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the worst part is after, seeing the promotional shots, we know that's not mistransformed. That's how the figure looks.
But then you're going to sit there and have it beside Ratchet and MP plus Prowl. It's like, why?
Yeah, like
you
look as good as those two.
And obviously, looking at that giant foot in the top of the screen, like you've got the bee on a poster in the background, like.
I tell you what, the Hound looks fantastic. Like,
yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to that.
The biggest issue I have with this and previous is just the fact that it looks like that head's on a stalk or head's on an arm and folds away.
Yeah. Oh, for me, it's probably just how long the torso looks.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got 3 abdomens.
But that's and that sort of comes out of the whole car chest. He's got a lot deeper chest than what most cars do, so you've got the bumper and that lower. Should it be lower to the waist? I'm sure there's screen caps of the G1 cartoon where this looks fantastic, and others where this looks horrible. What's that? I don't know what that is.
That is Die Atlas and Sonic Bomber and I think Roadfire. So it's from Transformers Zone.
Next, that's box art. I need to see that. Another green Bape? What?
That's Nike crossover now.
Of the MP10 mold, just getting one last use out of that before we discard it. Shoe mold again. Wow, we're really getting some use out of the MP10 mold. Yeah, busy prime.
It looks good. Showing that fact that he's 600 what?
This Dutch angle's really hurting my neck.
The Dutch angle. There's a slightly better looking figure on a not all that wonderful design.
Design aside, that's I still think this looks fantastic.
Yeah, oh god, it looks like maybe the best NPM. Like all things considered, that's a fantastic looking figure.
Yeah.
Like engineering wise, definitely pulls off a lot to get that vehicle mode out of there. But the detailing on that alone is phenomenal.
Well, I reckon it would suffer a lot of the same problems as any Transformers jet. I reckon you turn that upside down, there's going to be a lot of junk under that trunk. But yeah, wow, and of course, Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron, you look fantastic.
Yeah, that's one thing where everyone seems to be quite unanimously happy.
Except for the fact we're going to wait a couple more months for it.
Didn't that get delayed?
Yeah, it's been delayed.
Because I'm not on the pulse when it comes to Beast Wars stuff.
Yeah, she's delayed. We're going to get to it. I think it's early April now. So, moving on into other Beast Wars news, and this has probably come more out of left field than anything else we've discussed tonight. Black Arachnia, Beast Wars reveal at Wonderfest.
Yeah, bloody hell! That's certainly a figure.
It's a tight hugging figure and a definitely a accurate figure, chest wise to the original.
Yeah, that's it's like they know what the animation model looked like, and they're full accuracy, I suppose. I'm impressed, actually, like, legitimately impressed at this, considering that has to turn into like, isn't it a precedent set by Beast Wars Masterpiece, like in terms of accuracy? We can say that's probably going to turn into an accurate looking spider, and that is going to pull some batshit insane engineering.
This may be the best looking spider bot we've ever seen.
Yeah, that looks.
It's definitely
posability looks amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be better than Arachnid from Prime. we can.
I think that's just the default. It's like I don't think that's something you have to say at this point.
Yeah, but it does sort of raise the question. In I think it was 2013, Takara re-released all their Generations Beast Wars figures: Rhinox, Rat Trap, Black Arachnia. I think Black Arachnia was new to that line when she was released in a more cartoon accurate color scheme, because at the time that was their masterpiece versions to go with Primal and Cheetor. What's in the back? Just Primal and Cheetor. So these were sort of the placeholders, and then they were going to go. They went on into Dinobot then, and now Megatron. So it's interesting they're going back and doing one of those original figures into a masterpiece figure on its own. So I can easily see Rat Trap or Rhinox being close after this.
Yeah, like around the start, it seemed like they weren't going to go very deep, and now it just seems like, yeah, they're going all in.
Well, apart from sprinkling that Prime, and I suppose you got Hound. Okay, I was going to say,
like, I think
we seem to be a pretty MP Beast Wars heavy in the last 2 years, but
yeah, I think the thing is we're seeing a slowdown in the before the Beast Wars and MPM line started, we were getting like a ridiculous amount of G1 MPs, and none of those have really slowed down to the point where we only have 3 in the pipeline,
and they're all redos.
Which is unusual. Yeah, oh god. Wait, I suppose Hound is the only new character that we know of coming out for Masterpiece, which is weird to think about. And he probably won't come out till 2020 as well. So it's like, I think at this point it's safe to say, they're not separate lines. Like Beast Wars, MPM, and regular Masterpiece, like that's all part of the same thing. So resources that used to be devoted to making G1 Masterpiece are now devoted to MPM and Beast Wars as well. And for all the talk we have about the maybe not quite liking the way the G1 Masterpiece line is going, I think it's safe to say Beast Wars is doing a pretty damn good job.
And this is definitely keeping my interest. And interesting to hear she's got the same interlocking base plate as what Dinobot come with. So maybe we've got a new base display thing.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if that comes with Megatron as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a Beast Wars thing or if that's going to be, standard for the line going forward, but it seems like a good move.
Well, that's an interlock all them together so they can all stand in place on your display, and you don't have to worry about bumping and having all 4 us over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fabulous, and we're going to see more photos of her. Don't know if it'll come out of Toy Fair because it's more Hasbro and Takara, but we'll see some more photos there coming up in the next few months. But I'm definitely excited. This is the second Masterpiece figure I'm really keen to buy after Megatron.
Yeah, I do not blame you in the slightest. Looks fantastic.
One thing also it's not pictured with her, which I did see a article today about, is whether they're an exclusive that come with her or something separate. We're getting stasis pods as well. I could not find the photos. TFW did report about it, but I could not find it again. So that's also going to be a wait out and see what happens in the next few weeks about that as well. Which may even give us a Protoform X that comes out of that, which excited. But one thing, dipping into Toy Fair briefly, and this is really the only thing Toy Fair we're going to talk about. Super 7 has revealed 2 non-transforming transparent figures, which
Yeah, that's a bit niche.
yeah,
Ever
reminds
so slightly obscure.
reminds me a lot of the sort of those how does the heart work or the Operation board game or stuff like that. So the chest's removed. We see the Matrix in Prime and some of his circuitry underneath his chest and torso, and the same with Megatron. So, yay!
It do look like sort of 80s kids toys, don't they? They're not. I don't know where the market is for this sort of thing, to be honest. I think it's like, sort of just not like a more casual fan would walk into, a Zing or something and see that and go, oh, I like Transformers when I was a kid, I'll buy that. And I think that's about the only target demographic for this sort of thing.
I reckon these look like they could be walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Or these
Shampoo
look
bottles.
these look like they could have been something for a G1 and are probably $200 now to try and find on eBay.
Yeah, it's looks like they're sort of Japanese vinyl figures, that go for stupid amounts of money for whatever reason.
Yeah. Unsure what they're going to do with the future of these things, but apparently there's a dead one coming, and these may be available for purchase at conventions in 2019, as well as Super 7 online store. So check out Super 7 online store, plug if you want to go over there and see how much these things are for a start. So they're probably going to be expensive. Lastly, Transformers Netflix. Holy shit! What's going on here? Apparently produced by Rooster Teeth, which of course done Red versus Blue and some other things. Now they've got some new web series on the line now, which are receiving a lot of buzz. Apparently, written by writers for Transformers Prime, Cyberverse, Machines of Power, the Prime series, all that. They're all included in this new War for Cybertron animated series coming to Netflix.
Yeah, it's a bit out of nowhere, but sorry.
You're right. I'm muted.
All right. Yeah, it's like sort of suddenly out of nowhere, but it's like this weird specific thing that a lot of people have, talked about really wanting for a few years now, and now it's happening. Like a Netflix original Transformers series. Sorry.
I wonder if
Yeah, sorry, I'm not doing. I'm a little bit sick right now.
That's all right. At least even it's not sick and you're not cutting out.
Yeah. It's either I'm sick or the internet's sick. You don't get any in between.
Yeah. Well, a battery would help that, but
it's like this thing that people have really wanted for some time now. Like on account of, Netflix generally allows for a bit more mature content with, higher production budgets. As you see, like their Marvel stuff and a lot of their like anime stuff that they've done. So, if this show is to hypothetically take that sort of direction, I think we are in for like some seriously good stuff.
You might not know, was not Thundercats, the Voltron.
She-Ra?
No, Voltron. Was that Netflix or was that shown by Netflix?
Yeah, that was Netflix.
Okay. So we've got that.
Because Netflix has had a lot of success with their 80s revival stuff, like, Voltron, She-Ra, and Devilman as well. It did really well. So,
yeah.
Hopefully this follows a trend and is, like, like a faithful but, really high quality adaptation.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of the things. It's sort of, well, they can't really show ROD and robot, not bot shots. What's the bloody
Rescue Bots?
Rescue Bots, that's the one. Yeah, they show them on there currently, but that's obviously a Hasbro produced thing that's being licensed to Netflix. So if this is them doing their own thing, and we've got some people here involved that know the series, then maybe it will be something more edging towards Prime or beyond Prime. One thing here is apparently Transformers veteran F.J. DeSanto, who has worked on the franchise's animated web series Titan Returns and Power of the Primes, will be the showrunner for War of Cybertron, which that is poison. That is fucking poison as far as I've seen it.
That.
Yeah, that should not be in this at all, because as soon as I read that... Transformers veteran. You're a veteran of junk.
Yeah, I want to... Can't find anything about this guy on TF Wiki. Hold on. F.J. DeSanto. What did he do? Oh no.
Oh,
he was he was the writer. Oh no. Oh, we're fucked.
Does writing include Mistress of Flame going tap 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 tap?
Do you want to know what he wrote?
Oh no.
Do it. Oh god. Like yeah, he's got and the guy, one of the guys, Eric S. Calderon, who sorry, not Eric S. Calderon, George Christic, who did Combiner Wars, you know, the worst one. Yeah, he's gonna help him out on this as well. That was a fun few hours being excited for this. All right. Yeah, I have no hope now.
And then there's still so many questions. Like there's a quote here from saying we're thrilled to work with Rooster Teeth's new premium studio division to bring all new Transformers fan-oriented series to Netflix. Well, that's not telling us what the animation is going to be like. We already know from previous experience the story's probably going to be junk.
What if it is just more Machinima?
Well,
because Machinima, the company, just tanked. Right, Machinima doesn't exist anymore.
I raised this question earlier.
It was produced by Machinima, right? Yeah. But Machinima was closely tied to Rooster Teeth, and so now it says it's produced by Rooster Teeth. So what if it's just the same thing again?
They just paid them out, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just they've transferred the rights to Rooster Teeth, and Rooster Teeth are putting it on Netflix because... I mean, it fits the bill as well, you know, with the cartoon arriving a year after the toy line. Oh, dear. This is just more... I don't know, I was trying to suspend my disbelief for a while, but this is literally just more of a Prime Wars trilogy, isn't it? This is the same thing.
But the problem is, I think a news story's come out, today that this, in fact, is going to be a prequel that's going to show pre-leaving for Earth G1.
War for Cybertron, like the fiction associated with it, is it's a prequel. Like, so the fiction is being done in IDW, and it's like pre-war stuff. So I'd assume that's the same. Like, whereas the Prime Wars trilogy was post-war, and this is pre-war. So, yeah, even then, look, if we see some... I'll wait until footage comes out to reserve final judgment. But at this stage, you know, even being a Netflix thing, I am not hopeful.
Netflix is simply the provider, the shower of the content.
It's not... I think, it's telling, but it's not a Netflix original series, is it?
No, it is not.
Because Netflix original series have creative oversight, right?
Yeah.
Netflix original series is like... So, yeah, the successful things I was talking about earlier, right? So, you know, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, all that. That's all Netflix originals. As for, like, 80s stuff, Voltron, Netflix original. She-Ra, Netflix original. Devilman, Netflix original. Right, so that's all... There's a bit more oversight and quality insurance. Whereas this is not. This is produced by Rooster Teeth. With the showrunner Like the showrunner is the lead writer of a Prime Wars trilogy, and it just so happens to be broadcast on Netflix.
You know what this is? This is solely and exactly the same as Rise of the Darkspark. This is Activision buying out High Moon, using their assets to make their own game, using the people working on it to make their own thing, and it being an absolute train wreck.
Yeah. Well, it's like I got a glimmer of hope in that it's animated by Polygon Pictures, who did Prime. So
I don't think they're going to
have good animation, but even then, like,
I don't think they're going to spend $1 million an episode on.
No, but like it's like even if it has good animation, that doesn't save a story. Really, with something like this, you want the story to be the focus, right? And I don't think this guy can write a good story. Like,
or characters.
Hopefully, because he's a showrunner, he takes a bit of a back seat. Hopefully, because it doesn't say he's the writer.
Yeah.
It says he's. It doesn't say he's the writer. It's never mind. George Christic and these other two guys. Yeah, fuck. Nah, the contributing writers are writers from Prime Wars. Why was I excited about this? Did I just skim read the story earlier?
I think
I read the story earlier and didn't notice who actually is the writer. Like who I didn't look into who these people actually are. And then I was like, yeah.
You and 99.95% of the fandom have done exactly the same thing. Yeah, I did it as well. I was excited. Then I started looking at it and gone, oh, wait a minute.
We all got excited and it's like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
This is the same creative team who created what is generally considered the single worst piece of Transformers media. Like, you can't understand this thing here. These guys made a trilogy of shows that are more hated than Energon.
They've been completely wiped from existence.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they were hard to find in the first place. Their Machinima tanked. Right, Machinima's gone. And whereas a whole bunch of creative teams, they rescued their stuff, old things like Arby and the Chief, whatever, these iconic Machinima things, they're all being redistributed elsewhere. We have no sign of the Prime Wars trilogy showing up again. Because no one liked it. There was just no love for it whatsoever.
Do you know a bigger sign of these two things being related?
What?
If fucking Windblade is in it.
Of course Windblade's going to be in it. Like,
No.
Windblade isn't the issue, right? It's because in the comics, right, where Windblade actually debuted and where she has most of her media, she's pretty great. She's fine.
I don't remember back in 84.
No, like in IDW, right, where she first showed up.
Yeah, I'm pulling the piss. It's all right.
Yeah, I know. But like when she first showed up, and she's been more consistently portrayed, she's a good character.
When you have
for some reason, every time they've put her in something else, it's been horrible. Like, and so she's gone from like one of her most liked characters in the franchise to one of her most hated, because she's been this lead character in these terrible, terrible shows. And yeah, I shouldn't have looked into who these guys actually are, because now I am not excited in the slightest.
Not only that, it says here the series was on Netflix in 2020, so it's over a year away.
Yeah, but that's the thing. These shows have always been a year late. Combiner Wars was a year late. Titans of Shadow was a year late. Power of Primes. And it's like, surely they could fix it here, but no, it's still going to be a year after the line has finished.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, we're going to be looking at the final wave, the final series.
I guess because War for Cybertron is a trilogy. Right, so we've got Siege this year, something else next year. Right, so it'll be...
okay, so we'll cover it. But
yeah, it'll cover the breadth of War for Cybertron.
Yeah. And
I'll
we
say
have
about now, and it'll just be like 2020 War for Cybertron Siege. It's like, great, you missed.
Yeah, introducing the character of Omega Supreme that's been released now. Like, oh yeah, well, we've got that figure. It's come and gone. Spoiler alert for next week's show. Yes, Omega Supreme is coming.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I hope that game's good because
And then
that's I need some Transformers media to be excited about.
I've had to go into admin mode. And I got deleted 7 of the posts on Ectotron
Oh god.
out of about 11. And also, there's been a lot of comments here about, oh wow, we're going to get a new adult. I don't. People haven't read the article. They're just saying, "Oh, new Transformers."
No, did I.
Yeah.
Before going, I should have read the bloody article before I actually recorded the podcast on it.
I don't want to be that guy saying, "Well, no, if you read it, it's you're wrong." But I don't want people to keep their hopes up because I know a lot of people do like the Titans Return and Combiner Wars series.
Yeah, but
personally, I don't know why. We'll get Chris back on here to explain why he's going to like this.
Chris likes Fallout 76. You know.
That means nothing to me, but I'll laugh.
That's Chris. If he's listening, that's not a legitimate jab. I know it sounds. That's just a joke. Don't worry.
I think I hear a missile being launched.
Oh, dear. Well, he's a Queensland. He's from Queensland, so he's probably got a gun. So I should I should speak less ill of Chris's likes.
He'll have a Megatron, at least. All right. That's it for the news. As I said earlier,
unfortunate ending.
Yeah, as I said earlier, there has been a lot of new releases and new reveals from Toy Fair. Of course, as I said before, Mega Supreme. We've seen Ultra Magnus, and there's been a Springer and some other nice looking figures as well. But that'll be next week. Until then, Max, new acquisitions.
Acquisitions, right? Almost forgot now. This is the sort of thing where I didn't want to go out of my way to pick one up online. You just sort of want to come across it in person, you know. And then there's a trade day a while back.
That's that with most figures, but they're just not getting out stores.
Yeah, and there's a trade day a while back. It was like, right, I'll finally pick up Generation Springer.
Oh, hello.
Because I started putting together a record shelf like a year ago, and at long last, I finally added Springer to it. And Thrilling 30 Springer. I'm sure you've all heard wonderful things about him, and they're all true. He is one of the nicer figures to ever come out of a Transformers brand. Just this spitting image of the comic counterpart. Really solid robot mode, creative transformation. A little bit tricky at times to get all the panels to get together, but it has this moment where when the panels come together in the car mode, it's like you have this MPI and hard moment. If you push and it all just sinks together, and it's just cathartic. It's really good fun. Yeah, it's I have essentially nothing in the way of complaints. It is an excellent figure.
It's such a shame to sort of look at a figure like that and then sort of look at. Have you got any Siege bots yet?
No, I've skipped Siege, I think.
Yeah, even some of the Titans Return bots, just seeing the Voyagers back then with I think the generations when they were even in that Frill and 30 line, they were at their peak, and just how much they've dropped off.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Siege. I don't know. I think Thrilling 30 was when I came into a Transformers fandom, and so I've got a lot of love for that line, and I do think it holds up pretty well. But Combiner Wars, I think also, there's a bit of a budget reallocation, so that's still held up. And in Titans Return, and especially Power Primes, I do not think the engineering was on the same level. But now, with the stuff I'm hearing about Siege has been universally good, so it feels like a return to form. Granted, I don't actually own any because I barely buy anything at retail nowadays. But so I'll just have to wait for you to take the plunge for me, and I'll take your word for it.
I'd love to find something at retail, but I've still got Sideswipe, Brawl, and Megatron.
I think for me nowadays, it's just, like trade days and toy fairs and then online. Retail is just too much hassle,
Yeah, but I can't justify the postage on top of retail prices.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard.
This could go through China.
Yeah, well,
feel bad about it later.
Find them somewhere. Hide the receipts. All right, I've got nothing. That's all you've got.
Yeah, that's all for me this week. Might have something ever so slightly massive next week, but actually no, doubt we'll get to talk about it because we're going to have a slew of news next week.
Yeah, well, she'll be there'll be no new acquisitions next week. She'll be all new news coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one next week.
Mm. All right, ready to get out of here.
Righto.
All right. Thanks for listening. And if you've been watching online during the live record, thank you very much. I tried to put out last week, but if you are listening and you do have any comments on the YouTube channel or even on the Podbean app or iTunes, let us know. We're happy to discuss you. Big shout out to Stu1, which he posted last week, agreeing with my dislike for the last night World War II Bumblebee or Studio Series World War II Bumblebee. So, let us know. Let us know your thoughts as well, because we are here for the community and want to discuss what's going on. So, to find out more about these stories, you'll find links to them in the show notes posted here on the YouTube channel, Podbean, and over on the Facebook group in Transformers Collectors Club Australia and the Australian Transformers Weekly Facebook page. To see everything we do, transformersweekly.com. No, it's not. Transformerscca.com, which will see everything the club's about. Head over there, check us out. Any events that are coming up, they'll be posted up there. Max, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us on.
For our fourth birthday.
It's a slightly uneventful episode, but
it was
some good news to talk about.
Yeah, I should have had cake.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's the fourth birthday, so we've had a few before.
Well, looking at some of the figures I need to buy in the future, so my wallet's straining already without having to buy cake. All right, man. Lovely. Thank you. And we'll be back next week for some long show. Better bring the popcorn.
Yep. Sit down, relax, and maybe not enjoy the show.
Yeah, strap into that favourite chair of yours and get ready for 5 days of sporting action. See you, Max.
Later.
But stop it.